You know what's funny? I use so many essential oils, and there's a minivan in front of me driving very slow, and they have a doTERRA sticker on the back of the car. They sell essential oils, but I'm so late right now. I ain't got no time to really. I don't have any time to talk to them about essential oils right now. doTERRA Wellness Advocate. Okay, so he could hook me up with a discount on the essential oils, man. Oh, well, anyhow, I'm not producing any sauce ondulé at this time anyway, because for a multitude of reasons, I didn't provide Amazon with their business information. I took down my listing from Etsy because right now I'm switching from, like, I don't know if you've been following, but I switched from, I'm not gonna do wax as much. The wax is for hold. I just, really I kind of went a direction of pomade because, in my interpretation, I'm making a men's product, and what men's hair product do men use? Oh man, you see, New York is a crazy place, man. Well, it's not a crazy place because Florida is whatever. You see these drivers mugging all the time and doing all kind of manipulation and doing all kind of road rage stuff, and you're like, oh my gosh, man, smile. One time I was on the train and I'm always grumpy. Like, I was always grumpy even as a child. So, my mother, saw me being grumpy, and it's probably because I didn't get a toy or something. So I'm realizing I'm just like my son, because I used to always want toys, and I would be mad when I didn't get my toys. But, I think it taught me independence, and it taught me self-sufficiency every time they told me no, because I reached a point where I didn't like no anymore. Let me say yes to myself, and let me make it happen for myself, Anyhow, so, yeah, I'm not doing I'm changing directions, and if I'm dealing with a liquid, I'm going to need a different kind of container, and I haven't really found a liquid-based container that's renewable at all. They have some plastics that are supposedly renewable, like I think it's called PLA. I can't remember right now, but it's made out of corn. It's a plastic that's made out of corn, but it is renewable in the sense that you can recycle it, but most facilities, there are hardly any facilities that can handle it at this time. So, regular plastic like HDPE, LDPE, those can be recycled. Those can be melted down and or chopped up and melted down. But right now, nobody's really recycling it. PLA. I'm calling it PLA right now because I can't remember the name of it. But it's made out of corn. It's plastic that's made out of corn. I had ordered some samples to test out from China probably about 2 years ago, and I didn't really like how they responded. I didn't really like how it worked out with those because later on I found out that they're not renewable, and they're not biodegradable either. So it's still like a plastic, and it's not biodegradable. So what's the point? So I need to find some kind of container. Now steel, if I could find some steel bottles, that would be helpful. But steel, because steel can fully corrode and rust within 50 years, versus a piece of plastic which takes 400 years or something like that. But getting a steel container, carbon steel or container. I mean, I could get stainless steel, but that's so expensive. It's so cost prohibitive. The price of a price of 1 ounce, a 1 ounce container would probably exceed, I don't know, $7, $10. No, it would exceed that because I was selling my units for $7 and change, and that's with the paper containers that cost little over $1. Those are renewable. Those are compostable. You could put them in the dirt and then they'll just melt. Basically. But the kind of contents I'm doing now require a different material. So anyhow, I'm just freestyling as usual because it's kind of. I'm sorry about the annoying tick 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 because I just listened to my stuff again and I heard the tick 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 indicator sound. I'm like, oh, this is so annoying. But recently in the news, I think it was Eli Lilly, which is a pharmaceutical manufacturer, just reduced their diabetes drug price by something like 75%. A lot of people online were asking, okay, so you reduced it by 75% now. Why didn't you reduce it by 75% earlier? And in one of my posts earlier, I was saying, the cost of being ill, like the yearly cost for your diabetes medicine is about $1,300 or something like that. I forgot exactly how much it was, but it's something like $1,300. You know what I mean? It's a lot of money. Hopefully that's not the monthly cost. But as of late, people have been using the diabetes treatment or the diabetes medicine as weight loss pills, and it has caused a shortage. But I think the reason why Eli Lilly or whoever it was reduced their prices is because the demand is up. There's a large amount of the population that does suffer from diabetes, but there's probably even more people who just want to lose weight in general. Even skinny people, want to lose weight, and they'll take a pill, if it'll work for them, So, I don't know how, like the drugs that I've heard of, and I'm going by memory, is Ozempic and Raybelsis. Now, I think the more popular one is the Ozempic, and it's been popularized by TikTok. Like people on TikTok saying that it works and stuff like that. And then Raybelsis, I've heard of that one also advertised on television. And there's other ones I'm pretty sure, but Ozempic seems to be the one that's in short supply. Don't quote me. I think it's Ozempic. But the weight loss drugs are in short supply. Not a weight loss drug. It's not a weight loss drug. It's a diabetes drug. And in my opinion, there's really no shortcuts per se, But there's a lot of other natural things that you can use for weight loss. In my opinion, especially when it comes to your glycemic index, it comes to glucose, comes to insulin, and your body's ability to absorb insulin, your muscles' ability to absorb insulin. You can try things like ginseng. Ginseng reduces your blood glucose level. It also helps helps your muscles to absorb insulin. It also increases the availability of testosterone. So that's why they kind of call it an aphrodisiac when it comes to men. But the fact that it lowers your blood sugar also helps your whole reproductive situation there. It's not an overnight thing. The drugs like Raybelsis and Ozempic, I'm pretty sure they work like almost immediately, probably. You know what I mean? Because these pharmaceuticals attack issues very acutely, very precisely. So anyway, that's all I really want to talk about. I got a lot of other stuff like I read over the weekend, but when I'm driving, I can't read at the same time, so it wouldn't be safe to do so. But yeah, they say ginger is pretty good for weight loss. They say just drinking tea in general is good for weight loss. I'm not sure how that is the case. But that's research that I've encountered when I was looking up the benefits of green tea. Green tea is good for the mind also. I forgot what else, in what capacity, but the green tea is good for anxiety also. But you know what? If anything is good for anxiety, I'm pretty sure it's going to be good for weight loss, because even myself, sometimes I eat just for entertainment. I just eat for self-soothing purposes. Like I did that this weekend, and I ended up having I'm still not feeling too well because I consumed a whole bunch of salty foods, and I think that when I consume salty foods, they make me fatigued also, in addition to probably raising my blood pressure and giving me a headache. Fortunately, I didn't get a headache. I did have discomfort in my head, but it wasn't like a headache. But if your blood pressure increases, it's going to put pressure all over your body and your head, and you're not going to feel too good. And it's putting too much pressure on your vital organs anyway. So it's probably not, your heart's pumping probably more than it needs to. Heart's building up pressure more than it needs to. So that probably leads to, heart disease, possibly. I don't know. I don't know what's the cause of heart disease really. Probably overworking it, and probably, too much fat content, too much energy content in the sugars and all that. I don't know. But I know that in the African American community, heart disease is a big deal. High blood pressure is a big deal. I like salt on everything. I like to put salt on everything since I was little, and I used to get stomach aches, from the amount of salt I used to consume. I didn't really get headaches. I never really got much headaches as a child. I got headaches later on in life, but stomach aches would really bother me, But so really it's all about Ozempic, Raybelsis. Hey man, look into ginseng. You know what I mean? I get my ginseng from Amazon. It's called Red Korean Ginseng. I forgot the name of the company. Something like Prince of Persia or something like that, or Prince of Peace, or I forgot exactly what the name of it is. It comes in a gold box. Because the reason why I know that it's useful in lowering blood sugar and increasing your insulin absorption is because during my research regarding hair loss, the drug dutasteride, which is a alpha reductase inhibitor, which is used, it's used, I think it's, you take it orally. It's used to make your hair grow back. Dutasteride, it's, you can't take it with dutasteride because it'll cause your blood sugar levels to drop significantly. And where I'm from originally, we have a food that's called Akee, Akee, and it's potentially poisonous. It's poisonous, so it's not something that I would recommend necessarily unless you know what you're doing. It has to be fully ripened before you can eat it, or you could poison yourself. And the way how it can potentially make you sick is by making you hypoglycemic, by dropping your blood sugar levels significantly, So I don't know exactly how it does that, but I would be interested. I think that the medical industry, or actually people that are interested in I guess you could call it nutraceuticals, or are interested in homeopathic or whatever, people who do that kind of research, they need to do some research with Akee, with unripened Akee, and see how it may be helpful in regulating blood glucose levels. But it makes you hypoglycemic, but it doesn't increase your, it probably, and I'm just speculating right now, it probably doesn't help your insulin absorption. It probably doesn't help you. It just drops your blood sugar, and then you end up probably passing out. So the thing about ginseng, it's not, as far as I know, it's not poisonous, and it's it doesn't have any side effects to my knowledge, unless you combine it, like I said, with a drug that it should not be combined with. So what am I saying? I'm not saying much of anything. Raybelsis, Ozempic. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I'm at a long stoplight right now. Let's see if we can find it. Can we find it? Can we find it? Can we find it? Can we find it? Oh, my son took a whole bunch of pictures. That's cool. Okay. Here it is. Ozempic, I was right. TikTok docs are boosting views and profits with weight loss drugs. What? Are Ozempic and Wegovy, Wegovy. Okay, so they're not talking about Raybelsis. They're talking about Ozempic and another one called Wegovy, Wegovy. Okay, so I'm not able to read what it's about because I just took a screenshot of the actual post. This is from Entrepreneur. Okay, that's from Entrepreneur. But you know, it's because weight loss drugs. Okay, now we're spinning into the world's obesity epidemic. Everybody's talking about it. Okay, so The Economist is talking about it. Business News is talking about it. Bloomberg is talking about it. Talking about weight loss drugs in general. You know what I mean? Everybody's talking about it as of late. I don't know why. All of a sudden. Well, maybe because the medical companies have reduced the price now that they know that they can sell volume. Because researching, and I'm just freestyling now. You don't even have to listen anymore if you've been even listening this far. But the thing about it, why drugs are so expensive, supposedly, is for two reasons, in my opinion. 2 reasons. One is the research process. The research and approval process is expensive. Secondarily, drug companies spend a significant amount of their budget on advertising. They spend, I don't know. You can check it. Don't quote me. On average, they spend, I think, something like 75% of their budget on advertising or something to that effect. Because people don't need to use drugs all the time. People are not sick all the time. But you need to tell them that there's something out there that you may need to buy. There's drug commercials on TV all the time. Those aren't cheap. So, the research and advertising. Big expensive cost. Now, so if somebody on TikTok is already promoting my drug, hey, I don't need to spend so much on advertising anymore. I just cut my advertising budget. The TikTokers are making 1 million zillion views saying that my drug causes people to lose weight. So thank you so much, TikTokers. You just saved me $1 billion. Okay, the research was already done. I've probably already covered my costs on the research in the first, few years of the debut of the drug. So that's good. I'm already tooled up. Already have my supply chain set up. So, it's just cruising from this level right here as long as I don't hit any class action lawsuits. You know what I mean? So, the advertising and the research are, from my understanding, the most expensive parts of drug manufacturing and distribution, sales, whatever the case may be. So if the TikTokers are promoting it, you don't ever have to spend so much of your budget on advertising anymore. That's me speculating, of course, just guessing, freestyling. So, Eli Lilly and all the other guys, whatever, Novo Nordisk, whoever it was. I'm sure I got the screenshot in here somewhere, but I can't look at it. They can drop their prices because people are not only using it for medical purposes, they're using it for aesthetic reasons. They're using it almost in a recreational manner. You know what I mean? If they can get their hands on it. So it creates a great demand. Significant demand. Don't need to sell it for so high of a price. For example, like drugs for AIDS and HIV. Very expensive, right? Drugs for cancer, very expensive. Not everybody can afford those. Not everybody can afford to survive. Imagine that, right? Imagine, oh my goodness, that's crazy, right? So it's very important that we try to stay healthy. Like me, I need to focus on my health right now because I don't feel 100% right now. But, the other day, I went to the urgent care. I think they charge something like, I don't know, $1,300 for a 15-minute consultation, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. $1,300 just to talk for 15 minutes and administer some Motrin, some over-the-counter Motrin. $1,500. So, there's people out here that have terminal illnesses. And, the medical industry is a business, of course. They have to make as much profit as they can. There's not that many sick people of a certain, taking certain drugs. So those certain drugs that are not selling that much, for our convenience of accessing those drugs, we have to pay a high premium, which is unfortunately the barrier between life and death in some cases. So imagine you losing your life just because you didn't have enough money to buy a drug that's available. You know what I mean? So that's why a lot of people talk about government funded medical care, like in Canada and some of the European countries. Like a lot of people say we should have a similar system like that. Let's apply a tax to everyone and make it so that people don't have to perish or suffer in sickness for want of money. Make health available to everyone. But it doesn't really work like that currently. So it's very unfortunate. So it's very important to take care of ourselves and do whatever we can to stay healthy and have not be a burden on anybody. That's important too, to maintain our independence and our dexterity and our flexibility, because everybody's out here doing whatever they want to do or whatever they need to do, irrespective of whatever it is. That's their life. They don't necessarily have to dedicate themselves to helping your life. Now, we enter into social contracts and social constructs, hoping that we'll be honored and we'll be saved by somebody, whether it's the cops, the fire department, your husband, your wife, your son, your sister, your daughter, your mother, your brother, whatever. This network, this alliance, this social contract, this order, this whatever you want to call it. We enter into these orders, or we are part of these communities with the hopes that we'll be able to help each other in some kind of way, whenever we need help. It's not just about how you feel about it. It's also about the responsibility and the obligations of being a part of the network. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're on a football team, you play your role on the football team, but we're all on the same team. So when it's time for you to run the ball, you gotta run the ball. When it's time for you to do whatever, you do whatever. You gotta do it for the team. So that's the same premise behind social order, social construct, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, man, that's it for right now. Thanks for listening to my ramblings. Y'all have a good day.